Hey everybody, it's Sunday afternoon, the 9th of May. This is our last real week of school for assignments and things like that. And I wanted to talk about ecosystems again and touch back on a couple things. I'm in a field. You can see this is a small field surrounded by trees, kind of tucked away. Right on the county line between Clark County and Miami County, two properties over from my house. And about 4 or 5 years ago, there used to be, you can see that one big tall sycamore tree, kind of right there in the center, had an owl nest in it. And we would hear them at night, see them, stuff like that. And this is great habitat for owls. You've got a lot of open fields where there's going to be mice and rats that they can, fly around and get. Nice isolated place. Well, then the landowners who live in that house kind of straight over there on the horizon, they contacted a timber company to come and harvest timber out of that block of woods right there. Now, the one thing about owls, they have a great relationship with farmers in modern agriculture, because as you can see through farming practices, they clear up all these fields, which is a great place for the owl to hunt. This field was in corn last year. The remnants, the corn stalks, are still here. Corn was harvested probably in October. So all winter long, this field is fairly open. And that makes it very easy for owls and hawks and things like that to hunt death from above. When the loggers came in, running all their equipment, being on the ground, kind of disturbing the area, if you will, owls don't like that. Owls like some privacy. They want to be more secluded. There's going to be some owls that may stay in an abandoned house in town, but usually an owl likes some solitude, some space. So when the loggers were here, the owls left, abandoned the nest, and the nest deteriorated and was gone. So we went a couple of years without hearing or seeing owls. And then last fall, or late last summer, started to hear owls again at night with their different hoots and calls and stuff. And I've been watching and waiting. And then during the winter, or early winter, late fall, I noticed where they were starting to build a nest. And it's going to be on this next field. I'm not sure how we'll be able to see it since the leaves are coming in, but the owls have returned. And let me see. Well, we'll find a spot up here. But what I want you to think about as you look at this habitat, as you think about this as an ecosystem, and we think about things like carrying capacity, well, there's obviously plenty of vegetation here that's making seeds for mice and rabbits and rats and different things like that to thrive. You have predators in place, like the owl, that are going to eat those small animals. The small animals have a really high reproductive rate, multipliers. They'll have babies multiple times a year, and they'll have a litter of offspring. They'll have maybe 5 or 6 or 8 babies at a time. So animals that are low in the food chain, low on the food pyramid, have a very high reproductive rate because they have to mass produce because so many things eat them. An owl, on the other hand, is only going to have babies once a year, and they might have 1 or 2, possibly 3 eggs in the nest at any one time. So there's way more prey animals than there are predators. And that's kind of the way the energy pyramid works too. I don't know if you can remember back that far. But the base of the energy pyramid is the producers. The producers are anything that's green doing photosynthesis. And man, you just look around and you see all the photosynthesis that's taking place now. So there's literal metric tons of energy being converted from photosynthesis, energy from the sun, into a more physical form, these plants. So then things like the rabbits are going to eat the grasses, things that eat the seeds, mice and rats, different things like that. And there's all kinds of nuts and stuff on the ground from these hickory trees. But as you go up the food pyramid, you get fewer and fewer individuals. So plants, the producer level, there's your highest number of organisms. There's more plants than anything else. That base layer of the food chain, or food web, or food pyramid, however you want to describe it, the rats, the mice, the rodents, the multipliers, there's more of them than there are predators. And each step up, you get less and less, and that's why they shape it like a pyramid, because the pyramid gets more narrow as you go. And if you think about, okay, if I'm a mouse, I might need to eat 10 seeds a day to have the energy that I need to survive. And in a field like this, there might be 100 mice that live around this field. So 100 mice needs 400 or 500 seeds a day being produced. Well, one plant can make 50 or 60 seeds, and there's thousands of little plants in this field. But if you are an owl, you need to eat one mouse probably every day. And so this field alone cannot support a family of owls for the whole year. Also, there's going to be snakes and other things, fox, that's going to also try to eat those same mice. So it gets complicated. The good thing about the owl is, of course, they fly. So the owl can hunt that field that we just was at. Owl can also hunt this field. There's another field on the other side of the road. See where that little yellow car is going? There's another field over there. So if you're an owl, you're just going to kind of work around and hunt several different fields. Maybe one field tonight, different field tomorrow night, and you're just doing flyovers looking for movement. Sometimes the owls will perch on these limbs overlooking the field and just kind of sit and watch, waiting for something to move. One of the funny things about an owl is when an owl eats, it will partially digest the food, and it will defecate, it'll poop just like a regular bird. But the owl is swallowing whole this mouse or whatever. And so the funny thing that the owl does is it regurgitates, or throws up. It pukes up this owl pellet. And sometimes when you're going around these field edges, you can find them. And I was hoping we would find one. I'm also trying to figure out where that nest is. It's harder to find with all of the leaves. But I'm near it. But I'm looking for pellets, because you can find the owl pellet and you can pick it apart. Maybe you've done this before, I don't know. But you can find the owl pellet and pick it apart and get an idea of what the owl ate. And I have some that I've found over the years, and we're gonna do that later this week. I'm also gonna send you a link of how you can get some information for you to read, to think about, to look at, before we pick apart the owl pellet. But I can't remember where that nest was. So bear with me. So this week, what I want you to do is I want you to, of course, you're going to watch this. Oh, there's a dead raccoon. You just never know what you're going to find. That's gross. What I want you to do, I want you to watch this video, of course. I want you to leave a comment. If you leave a question, I'll give you points. Yeah, I'll give you extra credit for any type of interaction, any type of comment. If you ask a question, you can send a question to me in an email. You can send it to me in a Google Doc, or you can just post your question here to the message board in the Google Classroom. And if you do that, gosh, where is that nest? I got to back up away from the field edge and have a look. If I get a question from you, I give you 25 points for that. So 10 points just for interacting in any way. So like a lot of you will put you'll put the little comment, watched it. Okay, great. I give you 10 points extra credit because I know you're participating. But then if you actually ask a question, then I give you 25 for that. You chime in on the Google Meet at some point. I do it every day from 12 to 1. You just check in with me there once a week, and you get 50 points for that. Then on Friday, I'll post a quiz. This coming Friday, it'll be the last quiz because we cannot give assignments after the 15th. But I'll post a quiz. I'll give you 50 points for that. So then that'll be it for this school year. I'm really bummed that I'm not finding that nest. I've walked to it 3 or 4 times. In my hands, I'm carrying this container because the last time I came out here, I actually found that. That's an owl pellet. You see the fur that didn't digest, it got puked up. And inside that fur is going to be some bones and things. So later on this week, we'll pick it apart. I'll also try to get out here and kind of show you where this nest is. I'm really frustrated. It's, I don't know, maybe it blew out in a storm or something. But, anyway, I miss you guys. School year's almost over. When school starts in the fall, there's a pretty good chance that it's going to be some form of blended instruction, which means we might be starting with this online format. There have been a variety of suggestions. Things like some students will go some days and some students will go the other, like you'll rotate. Because if we still have to do the social distancing, they don't want everybody in the building at once. If that's the case, I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows how it's going to look. There's a lot of people getting paid big money to try to figure this out. And nobody has the answers. The only answer I have is that I can't find this nest. And I'm sorry about that. But I've been to it several times and I thought I could just walk right to it. But I'll find it and I'll post another video of it. But in the meantime, I want you to think about ecosystems and food webs, carrying capacity. Oh, that was something else I was going to tell you. So after the owl left, since that's the main predator, then the prey numbers are obviously going to go up because food is not a limiting factor. Carrying capacity of this place, this ecosystem, hadn't fully been reached Normally, if you think about something like mice or whatever, there's plenty of food to go around, plenty of places to live. So that's not the limiting factor. The limiting factor is the predators that are eating them. So once the predator's gone, then the population is going to jump. Once that population jumps, and then the negative stimulus, the loggers, they left. So eventually, the owls are lured back, because eventually it's nice and quiet again. And eventually, there's so much food that the owls just can't stay away. And it's probably not the same owl. It's probably like a younger breeding pair. You have they don't have like a super long lifespan, because life out in the real world is pretty tough. So you have dispersal. When the babies leave the nest, they go off and find their own territory. And so they would come across these fields, and they're having a look around, and they're saying, well, they didn't know that there had ever even been logging taking place here. So they wouldn't have known, because it's nice and peaceful, and there's plenty of food, and there's no owls. So somebody stakes their claim, it becomes their territory. And the term for that was the founder effect. The founder effect, when an animal moves into a new area. So they move into the new area, and there's plenty to eat, and they start making babies, and everything's good, right? Founder effect. If you think about the logger running off the owls that were here, well, that might kind of qualify as a version of the bottleneck effect. That's the word I was thinking of, bottleneck effect. Usually when we talk about bottleneck effect, we're talking about some sort of natural disaster like a flood or a fire. And what's going on right now? Coronavirus. The coronavirus, look at the size of that worm. Do you see that? The coronavirus is a version of a bottleneck effect. Coronavirus is killing people, and there's no reason why one person does or does not get dead from this. Some people get it and never show any symptoms. Some people get it and die. If you have pre-existing conditions, other stressful health events like diabetes, high blood pressure, things like that, then there's an opportunity, a greater risk of mortality, a greater risk of death. So, but for the average person, death would be a lot more random. Some people die, some don't. Some people respond to treatment, some don't. Some people get it, some don't. But I can think of this coronavirus as a version of the bottleneck effect. And so some people will die, and you have this random, indiscriminate nature of removing certain things from the gene pool. Obviously when someone dies, they can't pass their genetics on, and that's what the bottleneck effect does. When the coronavirus is over, we could have an altered gene frequency in the human population because of the randomness of this pandemic. So it's another weird kind of freakishly morbid way of looking at what's going on. Now see, I moved back out here in the field to try to scan that edge, thinking I'd have a better way of finding that nest, but I'm not finding it. That's a real bummer, because I'd been watching it for a while. I don't understand. Unless, like I said, we've had some nasty wind and maybe it blew out. It's a big nest. I mean, it was pretty obvious, pretty easy to spot. Oh, I see it. Gosh, it's right up there on the top of that tree. How could I have missed it? I wasn't looking high enough. Do you see it? Right up there in the treetop of that big cottonwood. There it is. Okay. Now I don't feel like such an idiot. And there could be babies up there in that nest right now. There could be an adult. I suspect there's an adult sitting on the nest. Well, since we're looking up at it, we won't know for sure. Actually, I wish I had a telephoto lens or something, because you just about guarantee there's an adult on it, sitting on babies. And what I'll try to do is get out here at night. Yeah, I don't know, let me get a better angle. I'll try to get out here at night. Well, I'm gonna get over here under it and try to look straight up. But if I can get out here at night and catch them calling, if we have a nice calm night, that'd be cool. But like I said, later this week, I'm going to put up a link for a sheet, like a worksheet. It's not an assignment, but just something for you to look at for how to, yeah, you can see it way up there, how to dissect an owl pellet. I don't know if I can zoom while it's recording or not. Oh, yeah. But that's it right there, that big ball. But that'll be my goal, is to use these owl pellets as an example for ecosystems, as an example for, gosh, and we were right under it for so long. An example for ecosystems, an example for gene migration. I'm looking on the ground because there's some white splotches of bird poo. We've been getting some rain, so if there is an owl pellet and it's not fresh, it wouldn't be good. But I've got a whole bag full of them at home for us to look at. But that's it right up there. Wait, whoop, whoop. There. Anyway, I miss you guys. Stay safe, wash your hands. Take some notes on your life. I hope you're journaling, because there's going to be a lot of people who make a lot of money publishing books about the crazy times during the coronavirus. And I hope you're one of them. See ya. Bye.